While the runners here finish getting ready, we're gonna get you in going here. They're almost ready. As you can see, we have two matches. It's all going to be in the same seed here. It's Amazing Toaster versus Lightning and Eunos versus Schmidtty. And I think it's Victor Santa Fe and Frico here in the booth with me, and I'll let them take it over.
Yeah, that is correct. So good night, good evening, everybody. This is the Zelda 2 Randomizer tournament, the standard one, and we are in the semifinals of the losers bracket. So yeah, both of these matches will decide who of these guys will face each other. So yeah, good evening, everybody, and good evening, Mr. Frico. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Although I would say it's a little too early to call this the semifinals. There's a little bit more action still to go on the losers' side of things. We've
Oh yeah,
got
you're absolutely right. This is a
this is
weird tournament.
losers round three. So what's going to happen here is actually the winners of these matches will not face someone coming down from the winner's side of the bracket like they have in previous rounds, but instead they will face someone already in the losers bracket. So this is one of the unfortunate pitfalls of finding yourself in the losers bracket early on is that you have to win an extra race to kind of get back on schedule. So Eunos and Schmidty Games, the winner of that match will face the winner of Thurwolf and Buzz Thunder, who are both also already in the loser side. And Lightning and Amazing Toaster, who will be racing tonight, will face the winner of Level Engine and Zarnax 42.
Yeah, I really like the way this tournament works because it is kind of fair. Sometimes these one round elimination tournaments are pretty unfair when someone has a bad day or they have very bad luck. But in this kind of tournament, you kind of have to have bad luck twice to lose the tournament. So it makes things a little bit more fair, in my opinion.
Well, you're definitely not wrong. You kind of have one bad performance, then it's, oh, I'm done. Whereas we see, if you look at the bracket, which we're able to do, most of the high seeds are already in the loser's side of the bracket. And if this were a single elimination tournament, well, they'd be done already. But, at the end of the day, we've got Eunos and Schmidty Games going at it with each other. Both have found a magic jar already. I believe Amazing Toaster has found that same magic jar, but Lightning not quite getting the memo.
Yeah, we've seen the players get some of the players get the item out of the magic container cave, which I missed which one it was. But yeah, Trophy Cave had a magic container, and yeah, that's good to start. It helps you cast some early spells you get, like the fairy spell or something that can be a little bit costly for having only 4 magic containers. So it's a good find for the start of the game.
Well, with Fairy, do we go, all right, let's consider if we find Palace 1 to actually try to complete it, or would there be too much death abuse to consider something like that because of how difficult it would be?
Yeah, I'm kind of an student of Rose City Sane in the sense that I leave palaces for later. Sometimes, if I'm possessed by a stupid spirit, I will go inside a palace early. But yeah, if you leave palaces for later, that is kind of not an issue unless you are forced to get something out of a palace. But getting the fairy spell early, it's mostly useful for the downstep technique, which help you proceed and survive.
Well, it looks like Schmidty's solved the problem of needing to worry about keys, picking up the any key.
Yeah, so the any key is in the Pivot Cave, in the Western continent. So this is giving the players fairy, which Eunos has gotten, and getting fairy and magic key early is kind of telling the players that they will probably need to go inside a palace early. So we'll see what happens, what is required. Maybe the raft or something is inside a palace.
Well, we definitely need to see the raft, otherwise it would be very difficult to find ourselves over on the eastern continent. And the one palace that it looks like the runners have found so far is the Great Palace, so can't really go into that one just yet.
Yeah, we still don't have any means to go to the eastern continent any other way. There have been some ideas of using the towns, maybe the town of Saria, to cross to the eastern continent, or maybe Death Mountain or something like that. But nothing has been worked seriously in that sense. So yeah, we still need the raft 100% of the times.
I think Schmidty's having a little too much fun with his sprite there, but Schmidty has now found Fairy. So, with what we've seen so far in the overworld locations, are we considering a Death Mountain dive, since I did see the runners in there at the start?
Some of the runners like to take a quick peek to the caves they see as soon as they enter. The caves they have access to. So just in case they find a quick hammer cave and getting some information, but at this point, digging that mountain is a gamble. There are still things that you can do, I believe.
Well, it looks like most of our runners are running out of options fairly quickly for what they're able to do. I've not seen an alternative palace. I guess we'll see what ends up happening, all told, but
yeah, we haven't seen any palace, right?
Well, we've seen the Great Palace.
The starting one.
The starting
Great Palace.
We've seen Great Palace. I've not seen a runner in any of the other palaces as of yet, but, well, I kind of got to find them first.
So yeah, to find things, there are several options. You can go through a pass-through cave. We haven't seen many of those, but we see Schmidty games in what we call the fairy pass-through, or the fairy cave. He didn't use the fairy spell there, so I'm guessing he probably has seen the other side of it. And now we see Lightning entering that graveyard tile that has fairy cave, so I believe that is interconnected, but we still don't know.
Well, with both Lightning and Schmidty not even remotely interested in using fairy to go to the right instead of the left, I think that kind of tells me, okay, they have already seen the other side, and they're going, all right, this isn't going to get me anywhere.
So Chad is telling us that they can't use the fairy spell yet. I'm guessing it is too expensive, and it should be very expensive because they have 5 magic containers.
Well, I saw Eunos just cast it.
97 is Tiamat says in chat. So yeah, it feels like getting levels early
drops down at Magic 3 if our other runners at Magic 2 are unable to cast Fairy. Yeah,
there are some seats that kind of force you to to get magic levels very early because you're trapped in a very tiny part of the continent and you don't have access to anything unless you use the fairy spell to go through the fairy cave. And this could be the case, but as you can see, Eunos, he's going for the Death Mountain route. He's looking for a connector or maybe a hammer cave, whatever he finds first.
Oh, that was a pretty fortunate teabag for Eunos, picking up life 2, 3, and attack 2. But it looks like Eunos is trying to brave Death Mountain at this point. It looks like the other runners are still all in on exploration mode. Looks like Toaster's found the fairy cave as well, but not able to do anything with it. Unable to cast fairy. So it looks like trying to get an encounter of some kind just to get Magic 3 for AmazingToaster at this point. And possibly Lightning as well.
At this point, everything is a gamble. Because your options are Dead Mountain, which is a huge gamble, and getting a magic level that you will probably not need later because you're gonna have access to palaces. So Death Mountain holds the raft. It's a hint that Lightning gets out of the graveyard tile. He's the first one that has access to more things. This is Palace 1 and the grass tile, which has a p-back. So yeah, I believe he used the fairy cave, but I'm not sure. And we see Eunos. I believe he also had access.
Now we get to play what palace is this? Eunos is in the same area. Going into the other... No, looks like going into the same cave as Lightning. Or same palace. No, Eunos... I'm seeing a little bit of stuttering from Eunos' screen, so...
Yeah, Eunos took a peek inside Palace 3 or 6, and then he entered Palace 1, which is a good play at this point. They have the magic key, and they have nothing to lose here, and they have to place the gem, and they can get a free item out of it. So it's not a bad idea. So we'll see how long it takes for AmazingToaster and Schmidtty Games to get access to this side of the continent.
Well, it looks like it's just a race to get to level 3 on Magic at this point for AmazingToaster and Schmidtty, where, unfortunately for them, they didn't quite get the memo that Fairy's actually castable. I'm not sure Eunos has the magic key at this point.
That's a possibility. I didn't see him get it, but we could have missed it. I haven't done a 4-way race in quite a long time, so I'm out of shape.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep track of. I do not envy the trackers, and a little behind the scenes, we don't actually get to see the tracker in a 4-way race as commentators, so we're kind of relying on what the players show us on their screen, because we can see all of that. So I can see AmazingToaster and Schmidty's trackers, but I cannot see Eunos or Lightning's.
Yeah, that makes things a little bit harder. So Lightning is fighting Horsehead at this point. He's about to place his first gem. I hope I'm not ahead or behind.
Well, we'll see soon enough. It looks like Horsehead's going to have to mount a bit of a comeback here, and no, not going to happen. Down with Horsehead, 100 points collected to the next level, and it looks like Lightning will place the first gem. So Lightning finishing Palace 1. Eunos finding the item, and it looked not too impressive. The heart container.
Yeah, not too bad. Palace 1 is kind of a free item. But yeah, we see Schmidtty getting the down stab technique. And yeah, there are some encounters and some rooms in these palaces that are pretty full of enemies, like this one, like Nini's in, and a lot of lag. The magic container cave was also pretty bad. And AmazingToaster gets the reflect spell out of the town of Sadia.
Well, that's definitely going to help. Maybe not immediately, but having reflect, if you find Palace 4, which we know is going to be on the Eastern Continent, you can just get right in there and go for it.
And we see Schmidtty going into the town of Sadia, in which he will get the reflect spell through the backside and using the fairy spell to cross it. So yeah, that's another way the fairy spell is useful early. If you can cast it, is that you can go through this town of Saria and the fairy cave. So yeah, if you are trapped, the fairy spell early is a good thing to have. Sometimes a necessary thing to have.
Well, it looks like Schmidtty will end up getting reflect, so we'll see how that works out. I want to say that both AmazingToaster and Schmidtty are behind in this seed, but Schmidtty now does have Magic 3 and is able to cast Fairy, as is AmazingToaster, so we'll see how this ends up either helping or hindering the runners.
Okay, so yeah, at this point, Lightning is a little bit ahead. He defeated Horsehead a while ago, and he has explored almost everything the others have. He still hasn't gotten into the town of Sadia, if I'm not wrong, and Eunos is behind, just placing his gem. So yeah, the thing that kind of separated the players at the start was finding a way into this section of the continent. But I believe everyone has already solved that problem. So now the problem will be the raft, and we know it is in that mountain. And go west to find a cross is another hint we got. So the players know there's one cave they don't have to go in, maybe, if it's the last cave they're missing, so they won't have to go inside it.
And so they can narrow it down that it's the cross, but ugh.
And we see Lightning in that mountain. We know that mountain is required. It has the raft.
Yeah, so this seems like it'll be a nice little equalizer for our runners. Having to dive into Death Mountain and play random number generator simulator to see if you find the right cave or not.
Yeah, that is correct. There are things that can help you inside it. Knowledge about the caves and good memory about the ones you have been in. And yeah, there are a lot of things that can help you in that mountain. But at the end of the day, it is like 90% luck based. Especially if it is a very difficult one. So we see the kid for Schmidtty Games. He got it out of the hard container cave in the Western continent.
Okay, so Schmidtty is not currently in Death Mountain.
No, he's still exploring the Western continent. Maybe, I don't know which players got the hint about the raft.
Well,
It was in
one of them did.
graveyard tile?
It was Lightning.
Yeah, and it is in the graveyard tile, and 50% of the players don't go inside graveyard tiles. There are some players like Eunos that are in. They don't go out of their way for hints. So yeah, he will probably not get the hint, but he's in that mountain because he probably thinks it should be the answer. He's a very fast player. As someone is saying in chat, he is already way ahead in levels. So that shows you that he's a very good player in terms of execution. So yeah, he has explored a lot, and he probably is already reaching some conclusions.
Well, now see, Eunos does have the levels, but I don't know how much he has in the way of other items. We saw just a couple seconds ago that Eunos opened his spell board and he only has fairy still. Maybe it's just a little thing, but he does not have reflect. I don't recall him having the child. Toaster and Schmidtty, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but Toaster and Schmidtty are the only two that I've seen so far with the child.
Yeah, so I was saying that earlier. He opened his menu and I was like, oh, I'm wrong. So the thing maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe he's looking for the connector again. I don't know. And well, no, maybe he's looking for the raft already. He wants the raft right now because there were two palaces that were Palace 1 and either Palace 3 or 6. And maybe he got the hint about the raft because the graveyard tile was around those palaces. So yeah, maybe he's just going for it. He's gonna kind of gamble that the other caves and spells in the Western continent are not important.
I want to pick your brain a little bit here. With the two palaces right next to each other, is there any specific reason why you don't go into the other palace at this point?
The problem with Palace 3 or 6 is that you can be glove blocked. So that's probably what's crossing our runner's head. But sometimes players like Trails and other players feel that is the right answer and go inside palaces even if they can be glove blocked.
Because, well, I guess you're not going to find the glove there, but you find something like a hammer as the item in that particular cave. That would then open up Spectacle Rock. It would open up potentially hammer blocked caves, which I believe I've seen one so far. It might be a low percentage play, but it doesn't feel like it's horrible.
The problem is that you can lose like 4 or 5 minutes if it is a palace that is laid out in a way that you find the glove block very lately. So you get the info about the layout of the palace, and if you can keep it in your memory, you can go back into that palace when you find.
Well, not that I really say, hey, double dipping a palace is a great idea, because obviously, as you've just stated, if you're going to invest 4 or 5 minutes into a palace, you really want to finish it. But if you get an item that, after those 3 or 4 minutes, you may end up making up time for all I know. It's
it's clearly a gamble. It's a gamble, definitely. Like Rose City Saint says, the palace are not gonna go away. They are there, but he likes to have the overall scheme of things in his head before he commits to doing palaces or even Death Mountain. And sometimes he loses races because the other player does a gamble like that, enters Palace 3 without the glove, or enters Palace 6 without Fairy or the Glove, which could lead you to get blocked inside it. So yeah, it's player's choice, but I don't know. Everyone does their choices.
If we knew, we'd probably be in the tournament instead of commentating on it, because we'd know what the right thing to do is. So,
And in other news, Eunos got inside Hammer Cave and got the item, and I believe it was a raft. So he has access to the Eastern Continent. Let's see if he goes for the things he's missing in the Western Continent, or if he goes straight to the Eastern Continent. We'll see. Well, he's inside the town of Saria, so he will get the Reflect spell, which is the other required thing that the players have gotten out of the Western Continent. So yeah, that's good for him.
So now it's really just a matter of finding the raft spot to go over to the Eastern Continent. I'm not sure if it's been revealed yet.
Yeah, we've seen the Eunos has seen the raft spot. I've seen that he knows where it is. But the thing is that the kid is in one of the caves in the Western Continent, and the kid could lead to Thunder. We still don't know, but if Eunos doesn't find out what's in the caves and goes to Eastern Continent, he could lose a little bit of time if the kid is required.
So, what a surprise. A potential gamble on, okay, there's 6 spells at large. What are the chances that the child's gating that one spell that I really need, which, is Thunder? Because Reflect is already known.
Yeah, but still 1 into 6 possibility. I don't know how to say that. 1 out of 6 possibility, because we have 4 towns. As you can see, Eunos just picked up the child. So yeah, he's completing the Western Continent. He just wanted to get that raft as soon as possible, which is not a bad idea. He knew it was in Dead Mountain, so why not?
So have we seen the other item in Death Mountain so far? Or have we only seen the raft on Eunos' side? So it looks like he's going, heading east and just trying to get to that raft spot and get out of there.
Yeah, he's a little bit lost, but I believe the raft spot is below that river. So he's stopping there because he knows it's closer if he goes back to the start and goes to the raft spot. About Spectacle Rock, I believe we've seen it, but yeah, players still don't have the hammer, so
yeah, there was a hammer block cave right on top of the starting palace, as well as Spectacle Rock kind of just being there along the coastline.
Yeah, in lightning screen, we can see that Spectacle Rock is on the eastern side of Dead Mountain. Is close to the ocean there, to the water, and I believe we've seen 2 hammer blocked caves, but I'm not sure. I know we've gotten the item out of Magic Container Cave, out of Trophy Cave, out of Pivot Cave, and out of Heart Container Cave. So yeah, no, I'm wrong. That only leaves us 1 item cave that is blocked.
So does that mean Spectacle Rock is what's holding the cross? Because we know the cross is on the Western Continent.
No, the cross is in the hammer blocked cave in the Western Continent, but we still don't know what's the other item in Dead Mountain. So it could be something important like the flute or something required like the glove.
Oh, can the glove technically not be required if, by some stroke of luck,
Yeah, that has happened.
the blocks just don't happen?
In my 2-year experience in this game as a runner and as a player and as a commentator, I haven't seen it ever. But there are some people that tells us that it happens, and it has happened like 2 or 3 times, but I haven't seen it with my own eyes, so it's still a legend for me.
I mean, I've seen seeds where the boots were not required. I think there was one earlier in the tournament that I was doing commentary on where Maze Island was a bit of a chore because of not being able to use the boots. Nobody ever got them, among other things. But at the end of the day, they got to the end, defeated Dark Link, and lived happily ever after. Just unfortunately bootsless.
Yeah. Not requiring the boots, there is a very high probability of that happen. There is a very low probability of boots being required. And we see Lightning getting into the spell tower because he got the spell out of the town of New Kasuto, and we'll see what item he gets there. And it is the trophy, which could be required. We'll see. While we see Eunos trying to get to the raft tile, I kind of believe, I could be very wrong, but I kind of believe he believes the connection to this part of the continent is Dead Mountain's connector. So he took quite a while to get here, but I could be wrong. He's very close to the raft tile, but as you can see, Lightning has been quite a while in the Eastern continent. He's entering the town of Darunia, and he has the kit, so he will get the abstract technique. He will get the spell out of this town. So yeah, he's a little bit ahead. And Eunos is entering he's entering Palace 6, which is wow.
Well, it looks like Eunos just casted Reflect as well, so
yeah, he got the reflect spell. He entered the town of Saria through the backside of it a bit ago, and he got the kit too.
Okay, Lightning picking up what I believe is now his full complement of attack options, up, down, left, and right.
So yeah, Eunos is probably listening to this stream. So he's showing us that you can enter Palace 6 without the glove.
Well, unfortunately,
I don't know what his reasoning for it is.
Because, well, there's our little glove block. So,
yeah, he still has options, but the thing is that clearing every option out of a palace to find if your glove blocked or not can take quite a long time. And he got a swag move. He got inside the ferry hole without using ferry. That doesn't happen ever. So yeah.
Well, you can't say ever. It just happened, but definitely not an easy trick. That's one I could probably try for about an hour and get it exactly 0 times.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one ever. That's the first time I see that one. I have seen the ceiling walk, but he got inside the hole. So yeah, I haven't seen that one.
I guess at this point it's a matter of, with Eunos opening up the palace, if he can actually get anywhere with it, hopefully this will I'm not too thrilled about his levels if he's able to make it to Barba, but I mean, you're not
He's
going to make
great.
it this far in a tournament
he-
without, taking on bosses with a little bit of adversity.
He can deal with Barba on attack level 1, so yeah, bosses are not a problem for him. It could make him take some time, but he's probably the best player we have in terms of execution, so that's not a problem. The problem I see is that he could be glove locked. So I'm curious. I missed the spell that Lightning got out of Darunia. So if anyone can see that, or if you check when he opens up his menu, I'd be thankful.
And it looks like jump.
Oh, thank you, Jinxie Girl and Frico, of course.
Almost right on cue. Lightning found the tile where you need to jump to the right and had it, and now I'm kind of interested in seeing what Eunos ends up getting out of Palace 6 here. It's been a while since he's been in there. It looks like we're gonna see a Rebanak fight. So we'll see how well Eunos can execute here.
Yeah, that's kind of good news for him, because this path will lead him either into the item or into the or lead him to the boss. However, there are some rooms that can block him, like what we call the BGT room, which is the one with lava, and it has a wall of blocks on either side. So that could be between this and the item, or between this and Barba, or between this and both. It could happen, so we'll see. And the fire spell for lightning, we'll see what it is linked to.
And it looks like Schmidty's gonna go the same route as Eunos. And it looks like Schmidty is into Palace 6. Eunos already having the advantage of being in here for quite a while.
Maybe they got a hint about it. That's the only thing I can think about. These players don't like to go inside palaces without a reason, so we'll see. But maybe they got a glove hint or something. And Eunos is fighting the boss that is hiding the item. So yeah, we'll see if that's the case. And it was a hard container, so no hint. It was a gamble. Meanwhile, Lightning is on Maze Island. He can get 2 items and a palace out of this maze. And AmazingToaster in the town of Darunia, he's about to get his jump spell and his upstat technique.
Well, it looks like Lightning's found the glove in Maze Island, so Maze Island definitely paying out.
Yeah, most of the times doing a good overworld exploration will give you almost everything, and if it doesn't, you have the knowledge about what things could be hiding in palaces and what things could be hiding in Dead Mountain. So yeah, that's why some of us favor overworld exploration before entering palaces without a reason. And the flute is the other item in Maze Island, so this was a very loaded Maze Island. And Eunos in the town of New Kasuto, he's about to get a magic container out of this house and the spell, and he will find believe what was the item in the spell tower? I
It was
forgot.
the trophy, if
Oh yeah.
memory serves me correctly.
And on Amazing Toaster side, we see water tile. I believe that cannot be required at this point. We'll see. Because we've seen where the flute, where the glove is, and we're still missing the thunder spell. We haven't seen what fire is linked to.
Well, Amazing Toaster seems to have found the hammer, as did Schmidtty. Or am I looking at the any key and confusing it for
Yeah, that's the any key.
hammer?
Yeah. That's the any key and it was in Peaback Cave. And Schmidtty about to get his heart container and his disappointment out of Palace 6.
Well, is it more the time invested to get here, or that Schmidtty puts in because it looked like Rebenak, and then the next room, Rebenak number 2.
Yeah, this is the item room, and he will get a heart container out of here. And I believe the boss is glove locked. So yeah, the gamble didn't pay for either these two players. The good news for them is that they are competing against each other and they both did the same. So nothing happened.
Well, I would think it's a little better for Eunos because he's been able to move on. Whereas Schmidtty has now, taken the time to go through this dungeon, or excuse me, palace.
Those are weird because those are underground. And palaces are usually above the ground. But yeah, it's a weird thing about Zelda 2. They're kind of dungeons, but at the same time, they look like palaces. They have palace entrances. Then they become like an underground dungeon. I don't know.
Well, it looks like Lightning is headed into a palace on the eastern continent. Amazing Toaster picking up fire, casting it. So is that spell that we have linked with fire right now?
We still don't know. Did any enemy turn into a bot or something?
Well, it didn't look like it, but his life didn't go up. It didn't look like thunder. He didn't turn into a fairy. He didn't jump high. So I'm kind of going through and going, okay, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this. So
Could be
kinda
shield.
narrowing it
Sometimes if you use a random color sprite, sometimes the shield spell will turn you into a color that is very close to the one you're using, so you don't realize. And it could be the spell, or it could be the reflect spell too. And Lightning is in Palace too, but he has a glove, so he has nothing to worry about. It is a pretty tedious palace. It can be long sometimes, but he cannot be glove blocked out of here. Tiamat.
It looked like he jumped, but either way, it's not thunder, which is basically the whole thing that needs to be established.
Yeah, the Moas inside all Kazuto are weird because the spell doesn't work on them. I don't know why. It's an exception there, but the thunder spell works. So we know it is not the thunder spell, but it could be the spell, unless we have seen anyone use it in another situation.
Well, I think with 3 of the runners now having fire, if it was something a little more impressive, I think they would be casting it a lot more often.
Yeah, either of the options is not something useful. Reflect spell, they already have it. The spell, they already have it. The shield spell, well, it could be helpful, but not something you will use all of the time, especially in this situation. Maybe in Great Palace. Yeah, it is useful if it is the fairy spell or the thunder spell, but that's not the case in this one.
Now, unfortunately, when we saw it cast, it looks like chat pointing out that Eunos' color changed, so it looks like fire is linked to shield.
Which is the best case scenario. If it's not gonna be thunder or fairy or something like that,
life
or a
might
require
not be
spell
all that
like
bad an option. A cheap
yeah,
life spell doesn't seem like it would be all that bad.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, because shield spell will get cheap anyway, almost as cheap as the fire spell, sometimes cheaper. The thing is, and the life spell doesn't get that cheap, almost never. So yeah, the thing now about having the shield spell with the fire spell linked is that the players, if they don't get the shield spell, well, they have this alternative to it, but there are no more advantages to it.
So is this a situation where the likelihood of medicine gating off thunder becomes a possibility? Or can we kind of rule it out at this point?
Yeah, that's a possibility, but we haven't seen the spell out of the town of Rudo, and we haven't seen the town of Naburu. So those two are still an option. Because we're still missing the shield, the life, and the thunder spell.
Okay, so that could be the trophy, which they already have.
Yeah, that is a possibility. And we see AmazingToaster getting the item out of Palace 2. I believe Lightning already got it, but we missed what it was. And it is a heart container. So, as we can see, Schmidtty is way behind the rest of the pack. He's still in Dead Mountain. He hasn't found the raft, so yeah, this is very bad news for him. It will take a miracle for him to recover at this point.
Well, it looks like Eunos is into a palace.
Yeah, he's in Palace 2 too. Yeah, all the players decided to go for the palace inside Maze Island because you don't want to go through the encounters and everything. You don't want to double dip Maze Island if you can.
Yeah, Maze Island is definitely a time sink, so having to go through it twice just seems like a definite no thank you.
And Lightning in the town of Naburu, he's about to find what the spell out of here is, and it is the shield
Looks like
spell,
shield.
which is bad news for him. So yeah, medicine being required is now a 50-50 thing.
All right, now I am absolutely awful when it comes to which items relate to which towns for which spells. So the medicine is potentially a 50-50 shot at this point. Does that rule out the trophy that they already collected?
No, they haven't seen what spell comes out, what spell you get with the trophy out of the town of Rudo, because the town of Rudo is in the western continent and the players are exploring the eastern continent at this point, so they haven't returned back to the west. So we still don't know.
I guess Schmidtty didn't get that memo because he looks like he's still struggling through Death Mountain at this point.
Yeah, he just found Hammer Cave. Some people in chat are saying that he was already here and he apnei'd out of it. I don't know why. Maybe he was on his last life or something. But yeah, he's way behind at this point. He's about to find a raft and sail to the eastern continent, but players have already completed palaces and gotten a lot of spells and items out of the eastern continent, including the glove. So,
well, I guess it's kind of good news, bad news for Schmidtty, because it really doesn't matter where Lightning or AmazingToaster are, because he is only racing Eunos. AmazingToaster and Lightning are in their own one-on-one race. So, the good news is, it doesn't matter with AmazingToaster and Lightning. Well, the bad news is Eunos is still significantly ahead of Schmidtty at this point.
yeah, the problem is that Eunos is way ahead. He's about to place a gem inside Maze Island. He has the glove. He has the fire, well, he has things that are not required, but yeah, he's about to complete a palace that is pretty long. This palace took quite some time for all of the players. And I kind of believe that Schmidtty doesn't know exactly where the raft tile is, so we'll see how long it takes for him to find it. The location, it was kind of a little bit tricky. And Lightning getting the spell, the boots out of this palace he's in, that I don't know if it is either palace 3 or 4.
The eyeball in the beginning. That's the one palace that I can identify. Well, aside from Great Palace, I can identify that one too. But Lightning is in Palace 4. AmazingToaster going through the double Rebenak gauntlet of Palace 6. Eunos, I'm not sure where he is. I believe that's Palace 2.
Yeah.
It looks slightly different color-wise, so I'd rather confirm with you before making myself more of a fool than I actually am.
No, it is Palace 2. The thing is that he uses a real Nintendo Entertainment System to play, so the palettes are a little bit different from some of the players. I believe that the only one of the pack that plays on emulator is Lightning, but I could be wrong.
Alright, so Eunos is about to just absolutely demolish Helmet Head here. AmazingToaster making his way through, and Lightning making his way through a palace. Palace 6 and 2, or 4, respectively, as Eunos finishes Palace 2.
Yeah, that was a beefy helmet head for attack 4. It took quite some time, but Eunos is very fast anyway. So AmazingToaster in Palace 6 will have access to the boss because he has the glove. So we'll see where the glove, where the boss is hiding. It could be behind the Canadian Hole. I don't know.
Well, looks like Eunos into Maze Island.
Yeah, he's getting out of there. The Palace 2 was inside Maze Island, so he's walking out of Maze Island. While Schmidtty getting the trophy out of New Casuto.
Now, is there any specific reason why you would not have just simply up and aid on Eunos' side to, take advantage of having the hammer?
Nobody has the hammer, I believe, at this point. But the thing is
that's right.
that
it was the boots that we found. Okay.
he still has things to explore in the
Boots and
Eastern
gloves.
continent.
Alright.
And it feels like the raft isn't that close to the start. It took him some time the last time to get access to the raft tile, the raft tile. So yeah, sometimes it is quicker to Apnea and go back into the Eastern continent, but I believe this one is not the case, so he still needs to explore some things around in this Eastern continent. And we see AmazingToaster go through what we call the bent glass tube room, and he gets a toasty!
Yeah, unfortunately, AmazingToaster visiting the sauna, not quite the skin complexion he desired.
Yeah, the toaster got toast. Oh, and the fairy required room after that glove required one. And Lightning getting the medicine. So he only needs to find out where the thunder spell is to complete the seed.
Okay, so Lightning is fundamentally in go mode at this point then, because
Yep.
there's nothing that could stop him once he finds the thunder spell. He has both the medicine and the trophy, and it's just a matter of dunking them at this point and picking up the spells.
That is correct. And AmazingToaster finding Barbara. And yeah, Schmidtty getting pivacs out of these swamp tiles, and he knows where the water tile is, but we know it has garbage at this point. Could be the candle or something like that.
Well, we know where the cross is. About the... I don't know if you could say it's garbage. The hammer is still outstanding at this point, so...
Yeah, but the hammer is not hiding anything. If you get the hammer, it will lead you to more garbage, because we've already gotten the things we required to finish the game.
Oh, come on. A magic
I know
jar,
I know you love the hammer, but
come on, a 500-point pea bag. I mean, a giant bag of garbage. Not much, it doesn't get much better than that. Well, I think Lightning has kind of proved me wrong on the magic jar side of things, but
Oh yeah.
he's got all 8 magic bars right now. So
So yeah, the hammer is blocking the cross, which I like to call the white sword, because otherwise it's kind of useless, especially this late into the game. And it should be blocking some at one hard container maybe, and some pivacs maybe. Nothing else.
well,
There's nothing else.
AmazingToaster and Eunos are both on 7 blocks. So yeah, there's not much aside from the cross, a heart container.
Yeah, I'm pretty skeptical in regards to the hammer in general, because there have been a lot of times where the hammer leads me to a lot of garbage and makes me lose a lot of time for believing it will lead me in the right direction. So it could happen. This is one of those seeds. Fortunately for the player, they didn't feel the need to go for the hammer blocked things. And well, we still haven't found the hammer. It could be in Palace 5 or something like that. A very hard location like that.
It looks like Lightning's going to head into Valley of Death. So here we go. Lightning potentially, I believe, Palace 3 and Palace...
No, this is 5.
Okay, so this is 5. I was going to say I've not seen Palace 3 as of yet, but I think Eunos actually just took care of Karok in his final boss form.
Yeah, Eunos is on Palace 4. Maybe he's looking for the item.
Oh, unfortunately for him. Oh, it was Lightning that beat Palace 3. Okay. The Forerunner thing is, I've got my head spinning around trying to keep up, and
Have we seen Palace 3?
Well, according to
I don't know.
V2,
Okay, I could be wrong, but I'm like 95%. Okay, let's believe him. We have 2 people telling us that we're wrong, and showing us that keeping up with a 4-way race is way harder than you think.
well, yeah. And there's no tracker to kind of go, oh, yeah, he did that thing. So it's that much more difficult. There are 2 Rebanaks that show up in Palace 6 as mini-bosses.
Yeah.
So that's something that you kind of have to remember, so it's not like, oh, well, yeah, he beat a Rebanak. But could be the mini-boss form, so just one of those little oh my god, Lightning just absolutely dumpstered Guma.
Yeah, if he beat Palace 3 already, it must have been a very, very short Palace 3, like 2 rooms short. Like Tiamat is telling us that he went through the globe blocked room in Palace 3 and then it was the boss. So yeah, that's a possibility. That could take that Palace 3 could have taken like 10 seconds, and I can see myself looking away 10 seconds. So yeah, it could have happened.
Yeah, you focus in on somebody else's screen for a little bit and then it's like, oh, that thing happened, and you don't even know. Eunos picking up magic jar off of the desert tile. It looks like Lightning is now trying to just finish up his spell acquisition to get Thunder. So the old lady says, "Here, have a thunder. Head possibly straight to the Great Palace at this point, which we know is on the eastern continent. I believe it's a little due south of where lightning is right now." And of course, he makes me a liar by heading north. It looks like lightning may have Palace 6 yet to do. No, that's Palace 1, lightning.
Yeah.
That one. There you go. So lightning going into Palace 6. That will finish off all 6 crystals in all 6 palaces for lightning. So he should be the first of our runners into the Great Palace.
Yeah, that could happen. We'll see what Great Palace has for us today. It is, we call it the Great Equalizer, but Lightning has everything he needs to beat Great Palace. So yeah, unless something very unusual happens, he will win this race.
Well, I doubt it's much of an issue, but Lightning is only on 5 health blocks. Again, probably not the biggest issue. AmazingToaster into Palace 4. I believe AmazingToaster has to finish Palace 5 still.
And in his tracker, he hasn't finished Palace 3 either.
Lightning going into the Rebenak Gauntlet here in Palace 6.
Yeah, as soon as he finds the other Rebenak, he will walk out of there, I believe.
So at this point, it looks like the race is on. AmazingToaster's going to have to finish Palace 3 and 5.
Both very short.
He is on the
Lightning?
eastern continent, so if he can find them, he can finish them. But Lightning's making pretty quick work of Palace 6.
Yeah, it was kind of a short palace if you had the glove and if you knew the way, but I still think he needs to find out this room with the lava. So we'll see how long it takes for him.
Well,
And-
Lightning pulling some next level strats here. Didn't look like he even checked the item behind the Rebenak Gauntlet.
Yeah, he didn't.
So,
He has no need for anything at this point. So. He just needs
No.
to beat the game.
well, hopefully this works out for him.
Yeah, it should. He's a very good player. God bless you.
But it looks like Schmidtty delivering a little BM to Helmet Head. So we'll see how far behind he is. I believe he's got a bit of a ways to go here. Schmidtty
So-
Games going to head back in and go item hunting.
Yeah, Schmidtty still doesn't have. Schmidtty is doing the things that the players did like 15 minutes ago. So the thing is that he still thinks that the item in Palace 2 could be a thing.
Well, that seems to be Schmidtty's unfortunate demise in this race. He went into Death Mountain, and to use what you said, it probably still holds true. I think it was a good 15 minutes for Schmidtty to find the raft in Death Mountain compared to Eunos, AmazingToaster, and Lightning, who were all already well into exploring the Eastern Continent at that point.
Yeah, and we see Eunos having some trouble in this room, which could be a nightmare sometimes, especially if you like doing things fast. It could be very problematic, but well, he deals with it, and he's about to find Barba. While Lightning is dipping inside Palace 6 again, so I believe he doesn't know the way to Barba. We'll see how long it takes for him, while AmazingToaster is doing the Palace 3 blocked room, the glove block room, and according to chat, this is the one blocking Ribbonneck, and that was the case. So yeah, we missed that one, and this orange palace with purple curtains, we missed it altogether.
Oh yeah, AmazingToaster making very short work of that Ribbonneck. I guess attack 5's a little higher than the game specs. Oh, Eunos showing off a pretty good jackhammer there on Barba.
Yeah, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we got a race. If AmazingToaster finds Palace 5 quickly and
he's definitely looking for it. He's got the boots, and
but okay, I don't know if I'm wrong, but was Dead Valley's Palace 5?
Yeah, Valley of Death, yeah.
So he was kind of getting
far.
Yeah. He was hopefully, thankfully he went back, because he was going in a different direction. So yeah, now he will go into it. And Lightning showed us that it was a pretty quick palace, but sometimes that palace has some up or down choices, and maybe Lightning took the most favorable one, and maybe AmazingToaster doesn't. But at this point, I'd kind of say this race is tied. This is a comeback. So, okay, so Lightning is finds Barba. So he's very close to entering Great Palace. So we'll see how long it takes for AmazingToaster to finish this palace. But I'd say Lightning has like a 1 minute, 2 minute lead. We'll see.
Well, AmazingToaster isn't going to be, going out of his way for an item at this point, because he is definitely in go mode himself. So we'll see. I guess. Well, it's not like we have a giant clock to use as a reference point or anything for the runners. So, we'll see when Lightning ends up going in. It looks like just burning off the crystal at this point, and gonna head into Great Palace.
Yeah, he knows he's against AmazingToaster, which is an amazing runner. He's almost always in the semifinals of these tournaments. So yeah, burning a gem is not a crazy thing to do at this point. And he enters Great Palace on 1 hour, 12 minutes, and kind of like 10 seconds. While AmazingToaster is dealing with Guma. The problem for AmazingToaster is that I don't see the medicine in his tracker. And that could mean that he doesn't know where the medicine is. So he will go to the town of Rudo, get the life spell, and then
Isn't it
he will
right
need
above
to
the
look for the
trophy?
medicine.
He has the trophy. I believe he has the medicine as well. Or is that a magic jar? It's so difficult to try to find that. But
I
if
think that's a
Amazing
magic
Toaster
jar.
does not have access to thunder, then this is going to be a huge problem for him. It looks like Amazing Toaster just gonna nope on out of there, burn a crystal himself, and we'll see if he... Now, here's the question. Was it the trophy or the medicine that had thunder behind it?
I'm kind of 99% sure it was the medicine. And I don't remember where medicine was. I believe it was in a eastern Peaback cave, but I'm not sure.
Oh, so that's unfortunate for
Yeah.
Amazing Toaster then, because this was looking to be quite the race, but Amazing Toaster forgetting one of the ingredients along the way, being the medicine of all things. So it looks like Amazing Toaster is going to turn in the trophy, but it looks like the village of Sad, population Amazing Toaster, as I believe he's going to get the life spell.
Yep.
So now Amazing Toaster unfortunately getting the bad news. Lightning actually up and A-ing. Looked like he found a dead end. So we'll see if Amazing Toaster is able to find and turn in the medicine, as the trophy leads to the life spell.
If he doesn't know where the medicine is, he will probably go in, he will probably have to triple dip the town. But now he's sailing east and he will look for it. He knows he's missing some caves and some stuff, so he will go for it. Or maybe he already got the hint about the medicine being in the eastern continent. He's going to the water tile, and we know that's not the answer. I believe. I'm not sure. No, this is the candle.
Well, he found the candle. Mission accomplished.
Yeah. GG.
He can see in the dark now, but unfortunately that will not help him see where the medicine is.
So yeah, the things that he's missing in his tracker are one of the Peaback caves, which he's looking for, and the hammer blocked cave in the western continent.
Well, it looks like Eunos actually has a pretty good setup here. It looks like he's heading into the Valley of Death, so that's going to give him another palace that, plus the one he just finished. The candle was on the water tile, Fondue.
So yeah, this is the point where Amazing Toaster is asking himself, "Oh my God, do I need the hammer? Do I need to go into Palace 5 to get the hammer, and then go to Spectacle Rock and the rock blocked caves in the western continent?" He still has options, so I believe the option he's missing in the eastern continent, which is this Peaback cave he's missing, is the answer, and hopefully it's this one, but I'm not sure where it was. And yeah, this is an item cave. This is the item cave he missed, and it was pretty hidden. So we'll see later for the other guys how big of a deal it is for them to find this cave.
Yeah, both Eunos and Schmidtty are going to have to track down this cave as well. But it looks like AmazingToaster is up and A-ing, so it looks like that was the medicine.
Yeah, it was.
Oh man, not having the medicine opened up a little over a 7-minute lead and still counting for Lightning. As AmazingToaster is going to have to turn in the medicine so he can get Thunder.
Yeah, this is a very long town, so yeah, 3 screens, and then he needs to go to Great Palace. So yeah, we're talking about kind of like a 7.5-minute lead. And yeah, thanks to chat, we're getting told that Eunos has medicine on his tracker, so he already found that cave.
I didn't see it in his inventory when he just opened it, but that doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either. I'm seeing his inventory, and it's not there. But he's already in Great Palace, so yeah, he already got Thunder somehow. And AmazingToaster entering Great Palace almost at the same time as Eunos. So we've got a race that is not a race between8 and Eunos.
Yeah, unfortunately, AmazingToaster is roughly 8 minutes behind Lightning. So this is going to be a pretty tough ask for AmazingToaster to make up 7 minutes on Lightning. But Eunos starting the clock on Schmidtty.
Okay, I believe he just got some time back. He took the Eon drop without checking out what was on the right of Eon drop, but it leads him into the ferry room, and I believe Lightning has been here already, so yeah, it didn't pay out.
So Schmidtty finding the boots, the item in Palace 4, hopefully about to finish it off. But Schmidtty is, let's say, significantly behind at this point, as Schmidtty has both Palace 3 and 5 still to go before he will be able to open up the Great Palace, as well as trying to track down the medicine to unlock Thunder.
Yeah, he hasn't found that cave with the medicine in it, so. And Thunderbird fight for Lightning.
So Lightning up against Thunderbird, and we've seen a good amount of exploration already. So I have half a mind to think there might be maybe only 1 or 2 screens between Lightning and a final confrontation with Dark Link to finish this seed off.
And you're right.
So unless something goes really wrong for Lightning, this looks like this should be about it.
Yeah, Yeah, so Lightning finishes in first place with a time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 21 seconds. So GG to Lightning.
Yeah, well done. Get those GGs in the chat, please. This was a bit of a seed, and Lightning finishing the first overall out of our 4 runners is no small feat. He only needed to finish ahead of AmazingToaster to continue on in the tournament, but on the flip side of the coin, unfortunately, this means that AmazingToaster will be eliminated from the tournament. And now we're looking at Eunos and Schmidtty games, with Eunos having roughly a 15-minute lead, if not more, at this point. So it looks, I don't want to say easy for Eunos, but I can't see how he'll be able to really blow this lead.
Yeah, unless something happens in real life, there's no way he could lose this race at this point.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're talking about something silly like power outage, internet outage, something that.
Yeah, and any of those things will give us a rematch. So.
Well, I think Schmidtty would want a rematch at this point because of where he is comparatively to Eunos. But at the end of the day, something's really going to have to go wrong on Eunos' side to tilt him, north to south and, just somehow not find his way through this great palace.
Well, the good news for Schmidtty is that he just found the medicine, so it won't take that long for him. Beating those 2 palaces, which are very, very short, should not take more than 5 minutes, and getting the thunder spell out of the town of Milo should be very quick too, unless he goes to the town of Rudo first.
One way or another, Schmidtty is behind. It's, I believe, 6 minutes right now. And obviously still counting, we've got Palace 3, Palace 5, and Thunder left to go. Eunos finding a 1-up doll, so it looked like he was contemplating the up and A, but looks like choosing not to.
Sometimes it's very hard to measure whether an up and A or walking is faster. Some players are very talented for it. That's not my case.
All right. Since you opened up the can of worms here, is it the talented part or the where were you trying to go with this, Victor?
I don't know. I like to talk about my lack of talent in this game. It's one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, at this point, it's really just a matter of trying to figure out how far behind Schmidtty is compared to Eunos. Eunos in the Great Palace already, doing a little bit of exploration. It was 119 45, I believe, for Eunos to go into the Great Palace. So he's already had close to 7 minutes worth of exploration time. And Schmidtty, well, like we said, still has a lot on his list of things to do before he'll even be able to get into the Great Palace.
I'm gonna call it a 50-minute thing. We'll see.
Well, easily 15 minutes. It looks like Schmidtty is into Palace 5. So he's gonna try to get some... Oh no. This is about it for Schmidtty. Eunos finding the Thunderbird. And as we saw on Lightning's side of things, Dark Link is literally the next room after this.
Yeah, so Eunos kind of made a comeback in regards to AmazingToaster. Eunos did a better GP.
Yeah, Eunos and AmazingToaster got into the Great Palace roughly at the same time, but Eunos definitely able to execute a lot better, find his way from point A to Point Thunderbird, and now at the Dark Link fight.
So yeah, I don't know. I think the thing that held back Eunos from winning the overall race was his venture on Palace 6. He was listening to this stream and that didn't play in his favor.
Oh, there we go. Eunos finishing in 7th place overall out of our 4 runners in this competition. But first in his match against Schmidtty Games with a time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, 35 seconds. So this will mean that Lightning and Eunos will be moving on in the tournament. They will respectively face... Eunos will face the winner of Thurwolf versus Buzz Thunder. And Trails is sitting at the next hurdle for those particular runners. As Level Engine and Zarnax 42, that race awaits Lightning.
So yeah, at this point, Schmidtty only has to do Palace 5, get his Thunder Spell, and get inside. While AmazingToaster still needs to find that drop that will lead him into Thunderbird, which I believe is this one, but I could be wrong. And it is, so yeah, he's about to finish too. He has 3 lives, so nothing to fear.
Yeah, I think all told, this should go pretty by the numbers for AmazingToaster here. And it looks like he's got not a perfect pendulum, but pretty close. I think Thunderbird's maybe a little over to the right a bit, but I don't think AmazingToaster will have much of an issue finishing off Thunderbird here. Should be, yeah, just 1-2 more hits, and there they are. So AmazingToaster's going to move on to the Dark Link fight, and that will leave Schmidtty into Palace 5, just hoping to finish this up.
And meanwhile, I believe Schmidtty is in the room next to Guma, if I remember correctly. So he will be joining Great Palace soon. So AmazingToaster finishes in 3rd place with a time of 1 hour, 31 minutes and 58 seconds. while Schmidtty is placing his 6th gem and is close to entering Great Palace.
Well, sounds like we have an intruder alert here.
Wow.
Hey,
Yeah, AmazingToaster invading the comment here. So, what'd you think of that wondrous seed you've been presented with tonight?
It was definitely a seed. Kind of sucked I had to farm to Magic 3 at the beginning, and then it was like get a bunch of stuff, think you're go, and then pick up boots, and then realize you actually need those.
Well, I think it was the medicine that, at the end of the day, ended up.
Yeah,
doing there.
I was up there. I don't know that I ducked my head in that cave, and I just didn't. If I would have gone in there and picked it up, I would have saved myself a few minutes.
it would have been a race. You ended up placing the last gem kind of like at the same time, but yeah, you still had to do the thunder thing, so yeah, it would have saved you some time. And well, Great Palace was also kind of problematic for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, GP, I found some loops.
Yeah, you enter a little bit ahead of Eunos to GP, but he got luckier and he did a faster GP. He found that drop sooner than you did.
Oh well.
So, what do you think about that mountain? How hard was it to find Hammer Cave?
I went in the back. I guess the back there, the second entrance, and it wasn't very hard at all.
Yeah, Schmidtty spent quite a long time, like 20 minutes there, so maybe it was an entrance thing that he did through the wrong entrance, maybe.
Yeah, if you went in the entrance from the north side of the map, then you probably you it was. I can't remember if it was on the second connector or something. It was not very far in when you found Hammer Cave.
Yeah, and Eunos did something interesting, and it was that he started doing that mountain earlier. He kind of didn't want to get the level, so he just gambled on finding the Death Mountain connector, and he got Magic 3 while trying to find that connector.
I could see that happening. I didn't want to go through Death Mountain to have that be my connection from south to north. So I was hoping I didn't farm very long. Luckily, it was only the 3 to be able to cast Fairy and get through the town.
Yeah, so it was a pretty one of those seeds that traps you at the beginning, kind of throws you out of your game. How often do you get this kind of seed?
They're pretty rare. Usually, Raft was in Death Mountain, but also you had to go through Fairy Cave, the grave drop in order to get up there. So, yeah, it was one of those seeds where it trapped you using Fairy early. I can only remember one of those, and that one was terrible because you needed to get to Magic 5 before you could cast Fairy in that one.
Yeah.
So.
I think I remember that one. Yeah, so Did you get the hint about the raft? Yeah, I believe you did.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, I believe everyone got it. It was in the graveyard tile, right? In the King's Tomb, right?
Sounds.
Yeah, the old lady that gave the hint, yes.
Yeah, there are some players that don't like to go inside graveyard tiles, but lately I feel a lot of races have been lost because of that. So I believe now everybody checks out those graveyard tiles. So about Great Palace, what was the trick to it? We weren't able to keep track of this Great Palace. What was the move to find that drop that led you to
You had to go up at ferry and left for a while to get to like a hook that took you to the drop you needed to take in order to get to T-Bird and Darklink.
Yeah, this palace took at least 7 minutes for each of the players. So it was a pretty long one.
Well, was it so much long as just getting stuck in the loops and then going, I gotta get out of this? Resetting back to the front and kind of, retracing your steps and then going, okay, this way's the loop, let me go the other way.
Yeah, I forgot about the bottom loop for a little bit on my last trip through.
So now Schmidtty is in the L7 drop, which was on top of the ferry room and going left at that statue room. And now he's in a fan room with projectiles, and he will have to deal with this waffle room that has a lot of chicken inside those cages.
Well, it looks like he's using jump, so if he can get up there, yeah, there we go. Gonna be able to do a good bit of ignoring what's in the first waffle. Not too much in the second one of any real threat.
He's very good at entering those cages in the first jump, like jumping, stabbing the blocks, and entering in one move. But unfortunately, as these waffle rooms are full of birds, they lag, and so that threw his timing off, so he couldn't perform it this time. But if he gets another waffle room, he will probably show us how you deal with those waffles.
Well, that looked like he was just in a loop. Well, I guess he was on the top of the L7 room instead of the bottom where you drop down.
Yeah, I believe he's in the right way.
So now he'll take the elevator down and let's see where this leads him.
Alright, I'm gonna jump out and let Schmidtty finish.
Yeah, man, GG.
What you end up doing, unfortunately, being eliminated from the tournament. Hopefully, you've got other things on the menu for what you'll be able to run.
Well, I've got plenty of stuff going on, so that's not a problem.
Alright, well, good luck with that, AmazingToaster, and we'll see you around.
Yeah, you guys have a good night.
You too. So going back to your prediction, Victor, you said it was about 15 minutes, and you had that almost spot on because it was around 134 where Schmidtty went into Great Palace and Eunos went in at 119.
Wow. So I need to play the lottery tonight.
Well, that or play a little bit of roulette. You're pretty good at predicting where the ball might end up landing on the roulette wheel, perhaps.
Yeah. That sounds more fun than the lottery. So yeah, I wasn't aware of how behind Schmidtty was. I was like looking at everybody's progress, and I kind of forgot about Schmidtty. And everybody was like in Maze Island getting the glove and doing Palace 2 and everything. And then I look at Schmidtty, and he's still in that mountain. And I was like, oh man, he's way behind.
Yeah, unfortunately, I tried to kind of spin it a little bit and go, well, Schmidt's really focused on trying to find the item out of Death Mountain, but just so much time ended up getting tossed to the wind, as it were. But it looks like Schmidt's found his way into the Thunderbird room. So now it's a date with Thunderbird. Gonna see Dark Link on the next screen if he's able to survive this, and we'll be able to close this up for the night. So maybe another 2 minutes or so, hopefully. Schmidt's got this down pretty well.
Yeah, he's a great player. He plays vanilla. He knows the speedrun strats, and he has a sub 80 for the most popular category of this game, which is all keys 100%. And so yeah, he's a great player. With random he does great, but he gets punished a lot. He sometimes his choices are very unfortunate, and I don't know how unfortunate it was for him to dig that mountain from the north, but according to AmazingToaster, it was very unlucky, and it was very hard to find that hammer cave from that side. So those things happen, and well, nothing you can do about it.
Well, I think they said it was a pair of pass-throughs that ended up leading to the hammer cave, but at the end of the day, I guess it just ended up being not the right decision for Schmidtty to be in Death Mountain for so long. But
and he also did the Palace 6 thing that I still don't find an explanation to it. I know we had this discussion before, but if the glove would have been there, which was a possibility, I would be saying something different. But but yeah, players didn't have the glove, and there were still things to explore. So I don't know why Eunos and Schmidtty decided to go into Palace 6 early.
Just not exactly a formality, but Schmidtty is going to be the final finisher of our Forerunner presentation here with a time of 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 3 seconds.
So yeah, GG to Schmidtty. And is he here?
Yeah, sure.
Hey man, we're talking about you.
No, I think I'm Death Mountain, actually.
So you kind of know where it kind of went sour on you with the time spent in Death Mountain?
Yeah, my gut told me Death Mountain early. That's why I peeked in there really early on. But And it's unable to find Hammer Cave, and that was that. You can't do something like that against any of the runners left, you know?
Yeah, this is roughly the last 10 runners left in the tournament, so you're really up against high-level opponents here. So at least you can say, hey, I was, top 10 out of everybody in the tournament. So maybe an accomplishment.
I feel like if I would have had anything other than bad luck in Death Mountain, I could have made the race closer. I can ever beat Eunos. He's really, really good. So
Yeah, I have a question because both Eunos and you went into Palace 6 early without the glove, and I want to ask what was behind that decision.
I went into Palace 6 because my two choices left, because there were two Hammer Block caves, Palace 6 and Death Mountain, and
Also, you didn't know. Okay, you didn't get the hint about the raft.
I didn't have the raft hint, so I went into P6.
Oh, so yeah, there was a hint about the raft in the graveyard tile.
Ah. Well, that would really help. It's me, find Hammer Cave. It took me forever to find Hammer Cave. So.
Wow.
I didn't get the raft until like 50 minutes, so that's pretty much the race. Now my troll dancing's over for this year. Good luck to everybody left in it.
No, man, you did a great tournament. You were pretty unlucky in a lot of matches, including the one you had with me, which was the closest match of this tournament.
And you and me had the race of the tournament, I think.
Yeah, we did. So yeah, I hope we compete again. The Max Rando tournament is coming next year, so it's a pain in the ass, but at the same time it's pretty fun to watch. But I will enter anyway. So yeah, hope to see you there.
I'll definitely be back. Hopefully stronger next time.
Yeah, do you plan on improving things in the vanilla run, in the speed run?
The vanilla tournament's coming up next month too.
Oh.
The 100%
Cool.
all keys tournament is coming up, so that's pretty much after this.
So yeah, we'll
I
be
figured I'd be out by now. Just for that, so.
Yeah, maybe I will sign up for it, but I don't know. Let's see. I don't know anything about the routing in that category. I still get lost in Palace 5 and things like that. But maybe I'll give it a try.
You can handle the rando, you can definitely handle the vanilla run. It's like do it once or twice, it never changes. But you guys are all good enough at the game that once you learn the route, you can be competitive in the races. So
hope that's true. Yeah, I will maybe try it. I've been pretty busy this last weeks, but maybe things will get a little bit more relaxed in the following weeks. So we'll see. Okay, man. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to everyone who helped making this race possible. So thanks to Frico, of course, for joining me and making this possible.
Jinxie Girl and Shiroeli are trackers, the clear unsung heroes of the production that we put on here today.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. I'll see you
Okay,
as the
man.
tournament goes on. I'll be spectating.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck going forward. Hopefully, you can knock them dead in the. I guess that's not a randomizer race, but the vanilla coming up for you.
Goes. Should be fun.
Yeah,
Watch Light
and the
run.
last.
Light's one of the best in the world. It's always fun
And the
watching
last.
pulverize the vanilla game. All right, guys. Thanks again. Catch you later.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Good luck and have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody. And yeah, thanks also to our restreamer, Shadow Maggie. I don't know if it's either Maggie or
You had it
Maggie.
right the first time.
Maggie?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, thank you. Good night, everybody. Hope to see you in the next races. I believe we have one between
Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, is Thurwolf versus Blood Thunder, actually.
oh, cool.
Hope to see you all there, and have a good night. Any last words before I send everybody off?
No, I think for me, it's just have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night. Have a good one, guys.